Cool cats, cool dudes, and the Dharma Traore. Hello and welcome to this. So, what did we make of that? The show where we talk about what we made of the last Leeds United match. Joining me today is Mr. Ben. How are you, sir?
Very well, mate. How are you?
I've been a lot worse. I've had a lot worse days, especially supporting Leeds United.
I seem to throw you every time I say that. It's like you're expecting a big sentence from me, and I just go, "All right, mate. Yeah, how are you?"
No. Actually, that's at least 78% more of an answer than I usually get when I say the same thing to Tony on the wrestling show. To be fair to you,
I've witnessed.
In fact, I'll play Tom. You play Tony. Let's do it right. Right. Okay. Yes, boy. Welcome to episode 792 of the Full Nelson podcast. I'm Mr. Tom. I'm joined today by my co-host, Tony Turner. How are you, Tony?
Well, hi.
As you just heard, that is our secret overlord in the shadows. It's Director John. Hello, Director John.
Sorry, Tony. Sorry, Tony.
I should have called him Director Tony, shouldn't I? No, we all have a lot of love for Tony. We all do. Hello, Ian. Hello, Jimmy, and Ben. Ben on the what's the word? Chat duties tonight. So well done.
If I see it, I'm on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's your 3 days been?
Well, since our last performance, it's been a nice 3 days actually. In all fairness, because woke up in the morning, it was like last time we played we won. And then next day it was like last time we played we won. And then yesterday it was last time I think we played we won. So it's really nice. How was it for you?
It was pretty much the same, but I'm going to adapt the policy because we didn't win. We're unbeaten in 5 and 3 clean sheets, so that should substitute for not winning.
Is it fair to say this time last year, let's say 6 months ago, if I went to you, Leeds have clean sheeted 3 times in a row, you'd tell me I'm lying, right?
Yeah, definitely. I just need to remind Sam that I'm still in control. Timeouts will be handed out.
Because and obviously that's another wrestling channel reference where Ben was, let's just say he was getting to grips with the YouTube copyright, or not copyright, admin system. He was learning on the go, let's just say, and it was unfortunate that Sam was the victim.
Yeah, that Sam had to just fuck off for 5 minutes.
I still don't know what he did for that 5 minutes, but yeah, he's a great lad. And I'll thank you for joining us last night. He put a mega shift in the chat for Sam Greenwood standards. Let's just say that. Yeah, Ben the authoritarian.
He's been made guardian, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So shall we get to the show, mate? That's what we got in store.
Well, we've got in store lots of different things that you've never. No, I'm joking. We're just going to start roasting the teams that we don't like. Of course we are. Ben, which team should we start with? And not long to tell you who to pick, but let's just say beginning with E. Just beginning with E.
I don't know any teams beginning with E. That's shit from Merseyside.
That's right. It's time for our weekly Everton roast. It's just one tonight. It's just one. But Graham Potter in talks with Everton, to which Mark Allman said, "We need his brother Harry." And just another quick one because Ben's become quite the clip art master. I don't know what the word is. The meme maker, and he created this little ditty of the weekly roast featuring Chelsea. What do I have in store for that? Well, the only way Chelsea players will score this season.
I don't even think they'd score then. Think Adama Traore would score in that.
I think he'd struggle, but I think he might manage it. He might get the inside of the post. More on that later. But who are we really here to roast?
Well, it's got to be the scum.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. More importantly than anything, did you? Oh, his sad little face. He's sad. Oh, if only he knew. If only he knew. Did you know Manchester United got a new logo? Yeah.
I might use that. Send me that. That can be for when we roast them. Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that should be added to the thing. Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't worry, Sam. We'll get there, buddy. Just he really doesn't really deserve this based on last night, but still, Harry Maguire's Premier League highlights so far this season. Poor Mr. Blobby being compared to him. I managed to listen in. It is. I'm sorry, Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby's got a UK number 1, and he's being done like that on the.
No, he's a national icon. Show. Yeah.
I just did him like that. I don't know.
I think you should send him a complimentary bouquet and just to apologise, Tom.
That's all right. I'll get my people on that. So I did listen in on the Man United team talk before the day before the game, and I discovered their plan to beat Bayern Munich last night. It was Ten Hag on how to beat Bayern Munich. We'll get there 30 minutes earlier and score 3 goals before they arrive. Yep. Yep, that was his plan. How did it work? How do you think it worked? Here's Onana on the floor.
He's great, and I love him. I do love him.
He's my favourite goalkeeper. In my shop yesterday, there were people sat there going, they've got to change the goalkeeper. They've got to change the goalkeeper. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? You don't even support Manchester United, and you're acting like you're trying to help them. No, keep him as the goalkeeper. Give him a new contract. Like, sack every other goalkeeper at the club and force him to play. Because any goalkeeper that's conceded 10 goals out of 13 shots, incredible stuff. Like,
then clone his babies with Harry Maguire's babies and fill the rest of the squad with them.
It's funny you say that. There was a meme of they basically superimposed like Harry Maguire into his face. Sorry, Director John. They had imposed Maguire into his face, and I thought, no, I can't get away with using that because we'll get cancelled. But it exists. Yeah. So where are we at? But we don't just have Onana on the floor. I managed to find exclusive photos of his gloves. I also then found exclusive images of him as a Formula One car. The internet's wild. Absolutely wild. We also got the time he tried breakdancing live during a football match. Madness. Then there was the time that he tried to act like his idol, Patrick Truman, from EastEnders.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Then there was the time he was caught drunk on the pitch last night, and they helped him up like he was Tom from Tom and Jerry. My personal favourite. Here's Onana on the bed. But we're not just picking on him, all right? Because he does have his supporters and his defenders. I'm sorry, but the old Glazer should have saved Leroy Sané's shot. I hate that, man. But we're not just picking on one individual because they are going to get silverware at some point this season. Okay? I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. They are going to get silverware. I know I'm not supposed to say that as a Leeds fan, but hear me out. Here's my proof. They've got 1 in 3 shot. Anyway, so yeah, that was it with my findings for the evening. I didn't do bad on hours notice. In my opinion.
What's on treble?
Sorry. That caught me off guard. I'm sorry, that caught me. Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Bandy.
weren't expecting that. That might be a betting in the dark for tomorrow night. The true treble in football. Anyway, wait. What my lawyers instructed me to. No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Size of that cigar he's smoking. People need to see this.
Jesus Christ! Oh, if people could see this, that thing's almost bigger than him.
It's not that big. It's only like 6 inches.
That's what he says.
Hey.
Yeah. So, was there a small Marathon football match last night outside of the Champions League? I believe there was. I'm sure there was. I know there was because I've got the picture of the lineup.
Was it up there in Hull?
It might have been. Or as David Brent once said in the office, oh, look, here comes Hull running down the motorway. Not that it makes sense to anything. It just made me laugh. Thank you, Bandy. It's very kind of you. So, as I ask every week, usually on Sunday, Ben, what do you make of that lineup?
Shax was in. Do you know what it is? I was pretty much the same. I wasn't disappointed with it. I'm still waiting for a view of our new players, and I know it'll come, and I will be patient. But I just thought they keep going on about managing Archie Gray's minutes, and not that I'm disappointed that he plays, but I just want to see what this midfielders are about. Especially Gruev. Not seen him yet, so. But I wasn't disappointed with the lineup.
Well, it's one of these things. I think part of the reason we've not really seen the new lads is because this 11 have been playing well, generally speaking.
I will say one thing that did disappoint me in the full lineup was that he dropped Creswell for Cooper. I was disappointed in that, especially at the fact that it came about where he had to come on, and God, did he look rusty, but we'll get to that.
Do you think it's a case of like putting the locker room leader on the bench when he has the chance, or injury?
You don't need the
maybe
locker room leader on the bench when you've got his best mate starting.
That's fair. I don't know. I'm trying to, because I think Daniel Farke has sort of earned our trust in some degree. So I'm trying to think of ways to justify it.
There's still a few things that I question. Look, he obviously knows better than me. He sees more than me, but I still question that he's got Pirro and Jorginho the wrong way around. And obviously, once Spence is fit, the defence will look a bit better. And Firpo, obviously, we've got a massive problem for left back, haven't we? Still, but we seem to be doing all right with it. But yeah, I'd rather see. Obviously, Strike's playing well, but if Strike's off, I'd rather see Rodon with Creswell than Cooper back. To be honest, I'm not dissing Cooper for how he's been.
Unbelievable.
I'm with a lot of Leeds fans, and he should have been sold or moved on by now.
I'm disappointed that I know this is like playing an old record, to be fair, but it's like change the record or that, but none of those players should still be at the club. I actually think it's doing them a disservice to their legacies at the club to still be relying on them.
Yeah,
if you get what I mean.
Yeah. And look, we know why. Look, Bielsa burnt them all out, and the Premier League was a step too far for some of them. Not every game, but collectively, it was a step too far for some of them. And I just feel that they're all past the best, and we need to blood the likes of Creswell through. And
yeah. Well, thought I'd just throw this up. This was how we actually lined up. I
So
mean,
it's come out that he was signed as a number 10. That's it, Joel Pirro.
And they're relying on Rutter being faster than Pirro, aren't they, to like try and break his defensive line.
That was clearly the plan last night when we went down to 10 men. You went with the legs, didn't they, for the counter attack, but it never came to fruition. But from reading his comments and whatnot, he was actually in his chat with Farker. He was signed as to play off Rutter as a sort of 10.
Yeah.
So it kept him away from Everton. So let him play there.
I wonder what Harrison's making of Everton right now.
Wouldn't you have just loved it if he'd have actually come out and they just spoke the truth and he went, yeah, Everton got in touch, but they're shit.
It's like
dice ball.
Yeah, they're a Premier League side. It's like, yeah, sure, for now.
Yeah.
I think
it does look poor and nasty, Sam. It does, but it's not an unfair comment. But you like Gary, our friend of the trip, says there are levels to this, and the Championship is far more forgiving, and you don't get punished to the level that you do at the level that Arsenal are at. As was proved clearly last night when we went down to 10 men. There's levels to this. But I don't think the more expensive Adama Traore would have put it in either. I was looking for 5 minutes. I was watching it with my dad, right, and I was actually looking for 5 minutes when the commentator came back on, and he says, "Oh, Adama Traore has come on," and I was like, "That ain't him. He's lost some weight. Where's his oil?"
Yes, I must. Yeah,
it was very confusing. I thought, how have Ola afforded him?
It's like 2 years ago, he was playing for Barcelona. I was like, he ain't going to rock up at Hull. Like, no matter what we think of him, or, saying that he's a one-trick pony or whatever, he ain't fallen that far that quickly. And he obviously hadn't.
That's what I thought.
But
it did make me look. Yeah.
It was definitely a double take. It was like, wait, who did what now? But
it's like the Dembele, because there was they had similar names, didn't they? The Tottenham Dembele and not the Celtic one, the other one. There was Usman and Osman, I think.
Yeah.
Dembele, and then there's the other one, isn't there? So
there's a couple, yeah. So the game starts and it, Leeds are front-footed as we'd expect, especially against a team away when we're away from home and they've got to appease their fans, so they've got to come out. So then we end up one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he doesn't score. For context, he doesn't score. Spoiler, the score, but he doesn't score. It was a good save, in fairness.
I was watching Square Ball earlier, and I think it's Michael Norman, and says it was a good save. I think if you put an inch of height on it, it goes over his foot. I don't think it was a lucky save, as in the way he spread himself, but it's a bad miss.
In fairness,
it's a bad miss.
Yeah, it's one of those. Okay. It's one of those where the way it hits the goalie's foot, it hits goalie's foot and goes wide, right? But that just as easily could have hit his foot at an angle where it took it into the top corner. Those are the margins, unfortunately. But no matter how we slice it, from position Rutter was in, should be 1-0. We'd have said the same if it was any other team. We'd say the same if it was a team running at Melier, because that's literally happened this season. That as well. Like, there's a million things he could have done, but the thing he did do didn't result in what we needed. Then again,
it was
3 minutes later, I get the sense following that though, we started really like piling onto them a bit because then only 3 minutes later.
First 6 minutes, it was them on it, but with nothing to show for it. But then we sort of picked it up.
Somerville has a shot, which, in fairness, it's a good save, but less of a good because basically, goalie's just basically stuck his arms out and
it's all at the right height.
Yeah,
but again,
yeah, a couple minutes later, 42 minutes, Somerville bangs another one in on the half volley. Good save.
Yeah, he was unlucky there. A bit harder, a bit higher.
In the 45th minute, we got the first booking of the might have been the first of the match, but certainly first for Roden. I thought it was. I'm 50-50 on it personally.
I am 100% right. Absolute biggest joke booking I've ever seen in my life. Absolute joke referee for both teams, not just for Leeds. Absolute shocking referee. That was never a yellow card. Never.
Softest yellow.
It wasn't a cynical foul. I see why he booked him, because they were on an attack. It wasn't a deliberate cynical foul like the 3 that he let go last night. There was 3 that he just let go. So hold on a minute.
I think it's because he cuts across him. Not I'm justifying it.
They lost balance, collided, and he fell over. It's a foul. It's not a booking. If they weren't through on goal, they weren't any threat, you know.
That's my thing. It's like it's not a. The booking is harsh, but it is a foul.
It's a foul, yeah, because it stopped the attack and don't win the ball, but it's not a yellow card.
Unfortunately, though, 15 minutes later, in real time, half an hour later, because of half time, he gets caught again. And immediately, second yellow, and he's gone.
It's his own fault. It was more yellow than the first one. I still don't think it was yellow, but when you've been booked, you know what's coming.
Well, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, you're gone. Like, just... It was unfortunate because obviously he's probably our top defender. Also, that then changes the contest, right? In terms of we've gone from being proper on top to we're going to do well to get a point out of this.
Yeah, we went from absolutely without. The game was a bit stale. The first half was awful. The second half wasn't great, but without causing them too much trouble, we were never in any danger last night. We had full control of it, didn't we? Do you know? I thought Millwall carried more of a threat than Hull up until obviously the last 10 minutes when they started getting shots.
You can't appeal the card, can you? The first yellow, you can't because it became a red, right?
Yeah, you can't appeal it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 1-game ban, or is it 3?
1.
It's 1. All right. I'm guessing that's going to be
Watford.
out of the way on.
It's Watford Saturday.
Yeah.
Unless they appeal it, then it'll delay it again.
Yeah, that makes sense. So then, basically, few chances, nothing major, until the 89th minute where we got caught out. Okay. Sam, this for Sam Greenwood more than anything because we've obviously seen this, but I doubt Sam has. Sam, let me tell you something. What do you think happens here? Because for context, that's not going across Traore. He's actually shot it. Like, it's leaving his foot, for context. I don't have a second photo, so I'll just tell you, it comes back off the post, and all our bollocks then shriveled back up into us.
No, Mandy, I immediately burst out into laughter.
I was just, yes, exactly. It was incredible.
There's levels to this shit, yeah.
Yes.
It's what we mean.
This is exactly what we're saying, Sam. In the Premier League, you're beyond punished for it. In the Championship, Hull are like, nah, we don't want to win either. We just want to share a point and all go home as friends. We're not going to be your friend, Hull, but thanks for that. Anyway, so...
One thing that did piss me off last night was Luke Ayling's shot.
Oh, not like his other goal at Holding.
No, he's captain. He's on an impossible angle to score. He's got decent players in the box, and he took the hardest shot he's ever took in his life. And I think it ended up somewhere in orbit. But going back to Bandy on Luke Ayling, it's just my opinion. It's all right saying he's played 3 seasons against the best that the world's got to offer, which is true. But if he hasn't learned fuck all from it, he's not good enough. Now, what I mean by he hasn't learned fuck all from it is his positioning's still shocking. He attacks more than he defends, and he's constantly getting run past, which means his legs have gone. It doesn't matter how good you are if your legs have gone, because the shittest, fastest winger in the world, i.e. Dan James, he's going to skin you. And that's all I mean by I'm not discrediting he's done this club a service. I like Luke Ayling, but it's time to move on. And there's 3 players it's time to move on from, in my opinion.
I don't like that the club has put us in a situation where this is even
a
debate.
I don't either. I don't. They should have moved on gracefully. But now they're being put out there, and mistake after mistake, and it's just... Like Cooper came on last night, and I know he was rusty, but even when he's not rusty, he's got them mistakes in him because he has rushes of blood to the head because there's levels to this shit.
I think he...
Joe Rodon, right? Yeah, stupid tackle last night, but up until that point, did he ever once make your heart skip twice? No, because there's levels to this shit, and he's an intelligent footballer. Whereas...
Yeah.
Giving it all for your shirt sometimes isn't enough.
Where I'm going to disagree with this, okay, this is a comment, even though it's a fair comment, is I actually think Dan James is being misused as a starting player. I think he was used perfectly on Sunday, where when you've had a player like the quality of Nonto running a defender, in the Championship, it's probably an aging defender for 70 minutes. The last thing he then wants is to then have to chase Dan James for 20 minutes. Because by that stage in the game, it's better to be fast than good, if you get what I mean. And Dan James laid on, I know he officially didn't get 2 assists, but he laid on 2 assists. And one of them was when he fell over. And what's been said, obviously,
that's the best assist I've ever seen. But yeah, I just think if you're going to have Ayling, you use it. Look, and I get we haven't got that many options with 2 fullbacks being injured. But when it comes to the point where Firpo's your left back, Spence is your right back, then bring him off the bench in that same regard. But other than that, he's spent for me. He is. And I don't like to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, like, to be fair, Sam, that's how I feel with him coming on and playing that 20 minutes, that specific 20 minutes led to 2 goals. And you didn't have to rely on him trying to score either, because it was just his speed was punishing Millwall. And again, you don't have to be a good footballer to punish someone with speed, but you do usually if you're a starting player, because they're also at their full fitness. I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but it almost felt unfair to send Dan James on against Millwall.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it was unfair. Yeah, I'm glad it was unfair, and I'll do it to him again, because fuck Millwall. But, pardon my language. But, yeah. What I will say about the Aylings, the Coopers of the world, is they're hard. They're going to be hard. They're hard to shift because we rode their good times to level where we were paying them money that, yeah, they earned it and they deserved it. But no one else is going to pay them that because they see that they're in a decline. So we've got Ayling for the duration of his contract. We've got Cooper for the duration of his contract.
I don't mind having him, but he's another one that's not, especially in this league, he's not fit enough or young enough to play every game.
I mean, they're good lads to have around the place. Like they'll.
I don't blame Luke Ayling for being the only option at times. I don't blame him at all, and I don't blame him for.
Yeah.
The odd time you're going to come up with somebody that's better than you, and he's going to have the game where he's better than the winger. That's just football, but it's just.
I don't think they help him out.
I don't think these last two games have been his worst two either. He's been all right.
He's got better
against Millwall. He's got better.
He's got better over the course of the season. Yeah.
I just feel that you got Iheanacho running at you, Vardy or whatever, Leicester running at you. He's going to suffer. What's this?
I'm getting this all kinds
What's
of
he
wrong.
found now?
That's a February thing, John.
Has he just found Snapchat?
He's probably going to red card me in a minute.
But yeah, I agree, Bandy. He has had some stellar performances, and you'll note that I also praise him when he does have them stellar performances. Not that he did anything wrong last night.
I think sometimes people think that, like, I want him to do badly or the team to do badly so I can moan about it. It's like, no, I'm just reacting to what happens. I want to sit here and go, he's really good, like we were on Sunday.
Me, right? For those who watched the game last night, you can't tell me they weren't fearing the worst after Cooper's first minute on the pitch. It was a woeful minute, and then there was the back pass that he just let go and didn't let Meslier know that he was just going to let it go, and then all of a sudden that's rolling towards the goal, and it's just that communication, man. He don't fill me with confidence in that defence. All
that being said, I want to say 3 clean sheets in a row feels almost historic for Leeds, given our recent defensive issues. So well done on, because most Leeds teams would have lost playing 30 minutes with 10 minutes. We'd have lost. We'd have folded.
Well, I can only think of one manager's team that would have got better, and that's Bielsa's team. We seem to do well with 10 men with him, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But,
didn't Lolo write a poem about that?
Oh, he did. He actually did. He did do this.
Man City one, wasn't it? Yeah.
He did. He got on the Leeds podcast, didn't he? He got to speak with Neville Longbottom.
King Neville Longbottom. How did he?
More important. Who's the broad that? Who's the
Emma?
woman on the show?
Is that her name? Is it Emma?
Yeah, I was talking to her. I was trying to pick her up, but it didn't work.
Is anybody else embarrassed that Neville Longbottom's a Leeds fan?
Just want to quickly say, I don't believe that John tried to pick her up for the simple reason he would have succeeded if he tried. Therefore, obviously lying that he tried. Just saying. He's too bashful. But yeah, sometimes I do sit there and feel like. You're welcome, John. I sometimes sit there and feel like, would they be having you on here if you didn't kill Nagini the snake? Spoiler.
It's just, where did you come from, Neville?
Has Sam Greenwood been abducted and replaced by a very kind alien? He rewrote it a second time, John. It got even better.
The thing about your team's fan base is you could be 40 points clear and they'd still find something to fucking whinge about.
Now, let's be clear. I'm sure Bandy's wrote this with the best of intentions. Okay, he doesn't mean in a Russell Brand kind of way. He just means in a.
I'm not a Russell Brand fan, but the guy ain't even been charged with anything yet, and it's just ridiculous.
15 years later, or however long.
Well, no,
yeah,
to be fair,
why did they wait so long? Why did they wait so long?
Yeah, but my thing that I was most offended about with all this is when it was revealed that he was a comedian. I was like, that's news to me. Sorry,
He's just an ex-smackhead. That's how I see him. He's just an ex-smackhead.
But anyway, so that being said, the game finished 0-0. So, yeah, so that's the thing that happened. It would be so kind and gracious right now if the man that could have charmed Emma, but obviously didn't, or he would have, would like to show us the stats for the game, please. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Poetry in motion right there. So
4 of their shots came in the last 10 minutes. So
as you would expect. No, on target. Do you know? It's an absurd level of age where I realised that if you hit the post, they don't count it as on target.
Yeah, I think I was about 22 when I realised that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is wrong.
Yeah, I always found that
they'll count a blocked shot. They'll count a blocked shot as on target if it's the defender, and even if there's a defender behind him and the keeper, it's still classed as on target. It's like, really? He is Bandy until proven otherwise.
I think he's guilty of being a pretentious knob, but that's a lot different to what he's actually being accused of. I don't think I'm unfair in saying. But
I can't say I'm disappointed that he's been taken off air on everything, but it's still not right.
Don't forget to join us tomorrow where we discuss the Russell Brand situation in excruciating detail. No, I'm joking, of course. We've got more important things to do, and that's a job for his legal team.
Jimmy Savile's got no convictions.
Wow. Why
wait till he's dead? What am I saying? Why?
I was saying, Gary Glitter.
No, they got him while he was alive. That's like what?
I was sat here thinking, John's so lucky he's not shown on screen with this discussion. And then John goes, "Bang! I'm going to put my face right on it."
Then they tried telling me, "Oh, it's because he was too powerful." He was a fucking radio DJ. How was he too powerful? You have Thanos' glove or something, you know?
I would like to know what he had at that hospital, but yeah. So thank you, Bandy.
Is what he had.
Thank you, Bandy. Football is not. Oh, it's my fault. I brought him up. I'm sorry, right? It's 100% my fault. I took it off the rails yet again, and.
Go on. I need to hear this.
Yeah, we've got to see how this turns out.
Was the bar owned by Jeffrey Epstein?
Walked into a bar on a playground.
Oh my God. The irony is that if I was sat on the trip and this was happening, I'd be laughing. I'd be like, "Go on, Greenwood." Right now, I'm just like, "Go on, Greenwood." Let's see some more. Come on. Harris. Savile was in with the police among other high-up people, Ben.
I don't care how high up they were. If he tried touching me, I'd have said something. If he'd have fixed it for me.
Wow. Well, I'd like to take this time to thank Bandy for trying to keep it somewhat on the rails. He's failing, but he's trying. He's trying. I'll give him that.
My fault. I do apologise, viewers. Let's get back to the game.
That game that had no goals in it, so we might as well carry on as we are. But anyway, So I'm in two minds because obviously this shows that we were on top for quite a bit until because I imagine the possession thing would have been different until the red card. So
I must say that 206 of them 412 passes were between Rodon, Struijk, and Meslier.
Where do you stand on football, like in modern football? And obviously it's elite football that's trickled down. Partly it Bielsa part of it as well, but in general, where like goalkeepers don't take goal kicks anymore. It's all American football style building out from the back.
This building out from the back, right, only works if they're going to press you. Hull weren't pressing us last night, so they weren't drawing anyone out of position. So it's just going from one side to the other, and back again, and it was like this isn't working. Somebody moved, and it was just. I think it depends on your opposition.
Is it fair to say that Hull were quite happy to watch us do that?
Yeah, and then we were pressing them, and they were just playing straight through it. Up until it got to midfield, and then we thought we'd win it back, but it was very frustrating.
Well, sorry, I was.
We need to.
Well. So everyone's getting excitable in the chat. It's Thursday night.
I watched a Millwall fucking podcast, and he was like, Leeds' most famous fan. So I had to comment and educate the fucking whopper that he was actually a Liverpool fan. I love the
Millwall fan that was shouting, we got robbed of a goal for a foul on the goalkeeper. It was like the ball never crossed the line, mate. It was like you had to get robbed of anything. Like any excuse for it. What do you think Millhouse's favourite team is, John?
It has to be Leeds.
Millwall.
Solid.
Wow.
Come on, James.
Go on, James.
He's actually taller on the mug than he is in real life.
He is. No, I can't say much. So, obviously, those stats are those stats. I personally, I'm disappointed in that we lost ground on Leicester, but I'm glad we did not lose. I think that's key to everything.
I think their bubble's going to burst soon. But it's a long season, isn't it? It's a long season.
I don't mean to insult the quality of everyone else, but I get the feeling it's on us to beat them, to burst their bubble. Because I can't see anyone else.
Or your typical championship upset, do you know?
Well, they already had that. Yeah. Yeah. But would Director John be so kind as to put up the results for the rest of the championship games in week 7? Thank you. So efficient.
So Preston still haven't played anyone yet.
No, as we were discussing on Sunday.
But fair play to them. I think it's Benjamin
They're still winning.
Pointed it out. They don't concede more than one.
Yeah. Very solid. Don't get me wrong. I still maintain that our trip to Birmingham would have played out differently with the team we've got now. But obviously, football doesn't account for that. Yeah. So,
no. But it's out
they were very lucky to have come across a Leeds side where the best players had basically said they're not playing. which reverberated through the team, in my opinion. Also, just quickly want to point out Ethan Ampadu, as usual, a solid 7 out of 10 every time. Imperious. How is he only a £7 million player?
Just another Chelsea loanee boy, wasn't it? That's about going rate for there.
Yeah, it's true. So Ipswich going from strength to strength, to be fair to them. I mean, I'm waiting for that bubble to burst, but I'm afraid that it won't.
That bubble will burst. Definitely will burst.
Did you know? There's been a managerial change in the Championship. Huddersfield have obviously they've lost Neil Warnock, but you know who they gained? Who their new manager is? Darren Moore.
Oh.
I think it's a solid appointment. Not necessarily a good appointment, but
I see Jack Clark scored again, didn't he?
He did. I've been seeing some things on the Twitter, or as they call it now, the X, where he's being touted as the best player in the Championship.
The best player in the Championship is Mr. 7 out of 10.
Zampadu. Or
Jack Clark is even the best winger in the
Ruta.
Championship.
Yeah. As old Plymouth
I wish him
doing.
well. He's from York, where I'm from, and I wish him well. But I have a feeling that the people behind the scenes in his life,
they saw Tottenham and saw money, right?
Yeah, and they just slowed his progress down.
In fairness to him, right, he didn't see anything different that Joe Rodon and Jed Spence didn't see when Tottenham came calling for them.
No. But not when you've only played 5 games for Leeds, really. And
of course. It's
an
an extreme example.
Yeah, in other words, you take the best advice you can get, not the people who let's take the quick money. But he could have signed for Burnley this year. But I think that's his level, his Championship and lower Premier League team.
Yeah, I get the sense he's going to bounce between that with quite regularity.
Yeah,
it's going to be like a promoted side is going to, best way of putting it, whoever gets promoted, one of the 3 are going to try and buy Jack Clark. And then when they go down, whoever then replaces them, Yeah.
He's a Mitrovic. He bounced lower levels with Newcastle, Fulham, when they've been down as well. So he's a Mitrovic, isn't he? But he's not really had his chance to bounce up yet. But might prove us wrong.
Yeah. I'm being proved wrong by James Ward-Prowse so far.
Yeah, you are.
I think I will be proven right, though. I really do. But anyway, that's another discussion. Probably one from Stoop, which is live on Fridays at midnight in the UK. Anyway. If Director John would be so kind as to make the table appear. Table. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. This is the end of the table I like seeing first because it means we're not in it. And beautiful,
so
beautiful.
Still
stuff.
3 teams winless.
I'm not the saddest to see those 3 there because Michael Carrick was getting the old, he's a great manager. He's a great manager, even though he had loads of loan players.
I'm not sure on Wednesday yet, but I don't think the other 2 will be there for that much longer, to be honest. I know they didn't replace Pirro, but they're both too good for the bottom 3 for me, especially when you've got
Middlesbrough didn't replace any of their good players from last year that they had on loan and the one they sold. I'm not necessarily saying they will finish bottom, but
it was a crap game to watch. That was.
So Watford are. I mean, to be fair, it goes for about 15th off the top of my head. Yeah, thank you, John. So 20th can go 13th. Like, that's how tight this league is.
Yeah, we could have gone 5th last night if we'd have won, and obviously the other two results went our way. But
Director John, page 2, please, if you could. Thank you, sir.
So we've got Watford 14th, so it's a point difference.
Yeah. So
a win. They've got a way better goal difference, haven't they? It's Sunderland.
But I just think if game by game we inch away at all these teams and just chase them all down,
And beat them.
it's our job. Just chase them, and then run away from them once we're in front of them. But, yes, Ian. But generally speaking, the Championship is perceived to be tight, irregardless, right? Because of the nature of like you playing 3 games in 8 days, generally. Like you can easily turn bad form around or turn good form into bad form like that. I can't click my fingers, but just imagine I was. Anyway, yeah, thank you. But Millwall in the Premier League, not for the police. I don't think the police would like that. Their behaviour, it was funny, but
was that their crew? That little gathering of geese.
Oh,
was that their little crew? I mean, because since Green Street, it's severely shrunk.
They were like
someone needs to tell him it's Zebedee bouncing around like a fucking tit.
I love that film, The Football Factory. It's a great film.
It's the view from behind where you can't actually see over the ball. It's like short ass fucking comedy. How old is he? He was older than me. It's like, grow up in your tracksuit, a full tracksuit of that. He's like a chavvy bastard. What an absolute muppet, honestly.
Oh, Camera used to be good. He played for Rangers, you know. Best one. The best one.
Shackleton, you're tight. No, you can't grow a beard. Idiots. It's like, you put your biggest moron as the getting off bus. Like, you go stand there and insult them. What an absolute set of tits.
Look at the praise that I'm getting from Colonel Ward. I'm just pleased that he once said that I look like Brad Pitt. I don't know how he found those photos, but I'm glad that he did. Because thank you, Colonel. Very kind. It's easy to love folly in a child. Yes. Yes. So we can make our way into the playoffs places, which is not the worst place to be at this stage of the season.
We don't do playoffs.
We don't do it well, but we've done it. Maybe it's time that we smash that hoodoo.
No, I'd just rather come up.
Oh well, yeah, obviously. If I had the choice, it'd be I want to win the Championship, but I'll take it any way that we can.
I don't agree with the playoffs. I really don't. I don't agree with you finish 6th and then you get to a playoff final. No, you're a great manager. No, you're not, Fat Frank. You're shit. Do you know? I just don't agree with it. You finish 6th and get rewarded for it. Yeah, I do, because it makes money. But if you're going to do it, then right. So have 3rd and 4th versus 16th and 17th in the Premier League.
I think it's more that they want the teams in 10th to still try because they've got theoretically some form of contention.
No. It's money. Trust me. It's a little cup competition at the end of the season where they can sell semi-final tickets and get TV revenue from. It's money.
It's good if you're not in it.
It's got to do with the integrity for the league. I just don't agree with it when you finish 6th and, you know, bollocks.
Well, really?
Is bollocks.
Because I just think that a lot of teams would be playing for nothing.
So they should have done better in the previous 40-odd games. I don't care about the integrity of middle table. If you're in the mix, you're in the mix. If you're not, you're not. Not
you
chasing
would if we needed
6th place from 12th. Do you know? Fuck that.
Yeah, but if we need one
It just
of them
means
to
it just
beat
means
someone,
teams like Luton, right? No offense to Luton, but you're never going to be a Premier League club. It just means teams like Luton can play Premier League.
they're going to be a lot better set up though because of that 1 year in the Premier League.
But for how long? We've seen it happen, haven't we? You know,
it depends on what they spend that money on, I suppose. They've not spent it on players. Like Norwich, they don't spend it on players.
they're going about, oh, they spent 20 million on upgrades for the. No, that's just you have to get the right floodlights in. Your grass had to be the right grass. You know, it's not like they've got a new fucking West Stand, is it?
I'd imagine not. If you're 10th place in the Premier League, you're then not worried about being 17th in the Premier League. And then the TV money that comes with that. It's a pretty strong motivator. It's a strong enough motivator for Crystal Palace to fire their manager.
Well, what motivates 10th is if they're close enough to 7th or 8th to get in that Mickey Mouse competition West Ham one. Just to generate more money for UEFA. The Europa League shit, so why would you make something shitter than that?
It was to get more teams in, because I think a lot of the European sides were displeased that they were always being eliminated in qualifying playoff 4 or whatever it was. Ultimately, it was still for more money, obviously, for more matches, more money. Like, I'm not disputing that, but it was good for getting teams that normally fall at the final hurdle to actually be part of it. I like
to feel it was to shut the Armenian champions up and the Romanian champions and the smaller countries, to shut them up for saying, hang on, why is 4th place in so-and-so classed as Champions League? Do you know? And I agree. Champions League should be champions. It shouldn't be 3rd, 4th and 2nd. It should be champions. But no, because there's bigger clubs. Because I don't know, Tottenham finished 4th. They're a bigger club than, name one, Bratislava or something. You know?
There was a UEFA Cup tournament. I remember this in the mid-90s. Let's say it was 1996. I remember at some stage of it, you ended up with Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, and then in the Champions League, you were getting Blackburn versus Spartak Moscow. That had to have made UEFA think. I don't know if that's specifically it, but it was probably that sort of thing.
So what UEFA? What? Because that's not a glorified enough draw for you. It's on merit. They're there on merit. It's the same as Luton being there. They're there on merit because of the playoffs. But for me, Champions League should mean champions, and that's it. Not finish 2nd, not finish 3rd, not 4th.
Well, the best way to cheer Ben up after that is to tell him that this year there's probably going to be 5 qualifiers for the Champions League through the league. It'll make it even bigger.
And then the history one where, you've been good in the past 50 years, but you haven't qualified for 15 years, but you can come back. I don't think they're doing that anymore, Ben. I think that was a line that they realised, no, that's actually too much bollocks. Yeah. They should just
get rid of them all. Yeah, I think they're doing like a fair play spot, and then the league team that qualifies for that countries, but they're not doing this like, Man United are usually in the Champions League, so we'll let them be. Like, no, that's not merit. That's bollocks. Because then you're rewarding historical performances when merit is supposed to be like the here and now. And if Man United are shit now, which they're not doing very well, are they? Why should they be rewarded for that because the 90s team won it or whatever?
Yeah.
Bollocks. Anyway. So, yeah. Please can that find. So, if Director John would be so kind to show us the next 5 games for Leeds United. Right. Thank you, John. So obviously we start out this Saturday with our Watford rolling into town. And then we go for a trip down on the coast. Off the top of your head, Ben, how many points are you expecting out of this 15?
Oh, that 15. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I think Watford, as we'll get on to in a minute, Watford haven't won away. Southampton are just there for the taking. We should beat QPR and Bristol City at home. And I think Norwich are pretenders.
I'm going to give them room to impress me, so I'm going to say 13.
But
I'll allow a slip up.
Norwich.
We have a good record at Norwich. It's normally at home to Norwich that we're iffy.
Well, we've got their man now, so
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
And they've not got Pookie anymore. They've got Josh Harding.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. That strikes fear into no man.
So it's Watford next.
Yeah, same with Bandy. So Ben did some homework, let's just say, and he took the liberty of finding Watford's form. Yeah. Well, yeah. There are some people that might not have known how you did that, all right? Stevie Wonder might not have known.
What's it called?
Anyway.
I forgot which one it's off. Flash score.
Flash score, yeah. But obviously it starts the bottom up. So the top is the latest.
So they got off to a good start at QPR, which... So for me, they drew with Plymouth, which is shite. They lost away to Stoke, lost at home to Blackburn, and they've drawn. They drew at Coventry.
They've started firing in goals, to be fair to them.
Yeah, but this... Well, they've scored quite a few goals, but they're letting in goals. But Birmingham down to 10 men, it didn't really take off till that sending off, to be honest. And they drew last night, so they don't seem the best on the road for me. So we'll have to see.
Their manager is it Ishmaelan? Is that the guy? Valerial? Yeah. I don't know if I've got the pronunciation right. But the lad who did well with Barnsley.
Yeah, he's French. Ismail.
Yeah.
Valerian. Yeah.
Oh, Valerian.
French.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I knew the face because he did well, and then he immediately did not well when he went to West Brom. Because who would have thought that a team with the Premier League parachute payments didn't want to play kick and run? Who would have thought that? Because that's what Barnsley were doing, punting the ball up to the big lad DK up front.
Yeah.
And then he brought him with him, and then they sacked him, and then now the player's stuck there. Echoes of Jesse Marsh and all his American mates.
Yeah.
His sons, not literally his sons, but yeah. So.
Well, it's inevitable that he's going to get sacked soon.
Well, yeah, but yeah, he'll be lucky. He'll be lucky if he's there. Actually, being a Watford manager is a win-win because you either retain your job, and you are one of the few at Watford that retains their job, or you get sacked in time for Christmas. You get a nice payout, and you haven't got to go to another football ground at Christmas. Stay at home with family. Yeah. Win-win.
Which brings
Jesse,
me to Neil Warnock. He's just retired for Christmas, and he really.
Yes. Yes. Got to spend your days with Sharon.
Do you know, he comes across as, do you know this Mr. Nice Guy that when he's on telly doing he just comes across as so false. I reckon he's a proper arsehole at home. I bet Sharon dreads it.
She's probably the one applying for jobs for him. But it's very much like he knows what his public perception is. So, like, he just now plays up to it very much. I could be wrong. But what was I saying?
So that leaves us, does it, with the question of the week?
You know what? Let me just take this down. Yep. And it is time for the Mr. Tom question of the week. Mr. Tom question of the week. Who said the club is like an old Savile Row suit, frayed at the edges, like a Rolls Royce in a breaker's yard?
Why did his name have to be in the question? That just stood out to me there. So I actually wrote the question as well. It just stood out there, Savile, right in the middle of the screen.
I did laugh when I saw it. I was like, oh, I wonder if that catch on with anyone. But boom. The answer is Sergeant Wilco.
I remember that Gatorade top he had on. I went to see that parade.
I didn't know he was part of my fan club.
You've got quite a big
new every day. Yeah. Got quite a few people in this fan club. And they don't get anything for it. Which makes it all the more surprising. Well, they get a headache, I suppose. But anyway.
So thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director John.
Yeah. Without Director John, 98% of this couldn't happen.
Couldn't be possible. Yeah.
I mean, I could literally press the start stream button. I don't even do that. Like John, if you press
midnight
anyway.
Where he is, do you know?
You missed it not last week, the week before.
Yeah. John had this elaborate outro made, and I was so hyped about like the show that I just forgot to play it. And I felt so bad. I felt I lost about 28 minutes of sleep over it. Anyway, so
we'll be back Sunday at 9 with the Watford review.
Yeah. We'll be letting you know what we think about it.
Have you got any other appearances before then?
Well, I might be going on the stoop tomorrow if they're doing a stoop, because I know one of their contingent is on international waters. I'm not doing a wrestling on Saturday.
He didn't get in contact with you?
He told us he's landed, and he had a Sam Smith's bitter somewhere, and then Lawler kidnapped him. So that's the last we heard of him. But we do know that he's actually at West Ham tonight. So he'll still be there now, or he'll just be finishing. So I might get online and see if he enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
So
you want me to hit the outro, or you tell me what
you can do? So yeah, we'll see you all Sunday.
John, if you could be so kind, could you put the link in the chat in case anyone did want to come backstage? It'd be rude of us not to. But
I'll listen last time.
Yeah, I was personally
you don't
offended.
Have to be drunk, Jimmy. You don't have to be drunk because we're not drunk, and we don't mind what you say.
Yeah, we're not showing that we're drunk anyway. But yeah, that'd be most appreciated. Again, I'd like to thank Ben for showing up, because it's a lot harder when you're on your own. I'd like to thank Director John for helping compile. Basically, John makes any of the bits of this that you think are good. John made it.
Oh, you did your whole pictures for the match. They were good. You selling
Well, I
yourself too short there, buddy.
I appreciate you saying so, but
There we go. Sunday.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing that Sunday.
I left mine at home.
Pre-season, did you? Pre-season kicks off Sunday.
It was a choice. We're bringing this.
I seen you putting it on I seen you putting it on before the start of the show.
You were just checking me out. You were hoping I was going to take it off.
Oh, you know that. You know, I wanted you to carry on.
All right. On that note, am I please bringing us out of this nonsense?
Yeah, you can bring us out. Good night, everyone.
Fire the outro. Good night, everybody.
Later.